comes in here next.
Should be working.
All right, so call this meeting to order. Do a roll call. Alicia.
Darren Fergus here.
Dorothy Dewar.
Greg Meyer.
Motion.
Okay.
We review the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, this, our room might be there.
Alicia's willing to take minutes.
Okay.
Is that all right? We need to make a motion, or do we need to make a motion to accept her on the board first?
Well, I think we should make a mission.
Yeah,
Before we discuss anything, I think we need to
That's on
approve
the
the
agenda
members,
after roll
new
call.
members of the board.
Okay.
Yeah, after roll call here, let's review the minutes, and then on the agenda is to welcome the new board members. And get on to discuss it about and stuff. To review the minutes and then, in the last meeting. Short meeting for all this.
I make a motion to approve the minutes if everybody's read them.
You got a motion, you got a second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we're supposed to move into the treasurer's report, I don't know, we need somebody to read that, or we just gonna?
I have copies, you can have it.
Yeah, we have them all. Highlighted some there. We're sitting at 124%, 4061, that sound right? Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So move.
Second.
I'll second.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Somebody read that. I guess then we can move into the agenda. First on the agenda here is, welcome the new weed board members. So it would be Dorothy and Alicia. I think we've introduced ourselves to one another. From there, we need to see where you're located on the map. And then we gotta You gotta move you.
No longer appointed.
No.
I'm appointed at large at this point.
You're at large.
Yeah.
You're a tennis ball.
Yeah, I can go anywhere.
You would be in what district then? You're on 33rd Avenue
Yep, being 5.
in section 5.
Well, before we do that, could we, if Alicia is willing to take notes, we should get her approved and accepted.
I think the commissioners do
Okay, so that's done.
it.
So are you willing to take minutes, Alicia? Yes, okay. Thank you. So go ahead and fire your computer up then. So, and really, I think for the sake of records, we need those first two motions recorded
Yes, well,
also. So
I can oversee that.
let's wait till you get going there.
Where are you located, Dorothy?
I believe I'm in District 6. I should be section 20.
Okay.
I don't want to be rude.
I have that all looked up. I forgot to grab it.
Is it 6? Correct.
Yes, District 6.
And she would be in District 5 then.
Believe so.
Mm,
So 4 and 7 are still vacant. And then 4 was Darrell.
Right.
Should I be on 5 or 6?
I think you're actually within 6.
I think so too.
You're further north.
Yeah, you're north of center, and then you're 5 because the Hensler Road goes in there, and you guys are what, 3 miles east of Hensler?
Are you on a needle place?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'd be in 4.
Yeah, I think you'd be 4.
So you'd be in District 4.
She's in section 4. On that.
Yeah, these shadings are really close here.
Yeah.
But they're west of the Hensler Road, so that splits 4 and 6, correct?
Aren't you in
Way I'm
section
reading this?
21 of District 4?
That's where I had Wade.
Yeah, aren't you right by Wade?
No, they're just to the west.
Yeah.
West of that.
So because there's the Fort Clark Road, and then that comes up.
It's like in the 16.
Yeah, I think that's what I would say.
Well, I can remember at home when I looked it up, it was in 4.
Yeah.
I forgot to grab that still.
And then your District 6, Dorothy, which is why I need to shift, correct?
Okay, yeah, I'm in
Yep.
District 6.
And then we only have one vacant
We have
district.
one empty.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what you pick or how.
Well,
you do that.
I'm just thinking that there's, 5, I don't mind, I could be 5. There's potential we could find somebody in 7 to fill that spot, maybe. I'll call around a little bit, so put me back over there. I don't really care, I'm just saying, let's do that, yeah.
I'm fine with whatever. I mean, if somebody applies for 5, we just have to
Shift it.
shift again.
Yep.
And, that'll be good. That'll be good.
So do we need a motion to
7 is open, 6 would be Dorothy.
assign, get the districts all squared away? I suppose through Darren, we should have
Yeah.
a motion.
We can make a motion.
Okay,
To approve, move Darren to 5 from 6, right?
Yeah.
Or 6 to
or
5.
6 to 5. I move that Alicia goes into District 4, Dorothy into District 6, and Darren gets transferred as the voting member, whatever you want to call it, to District 5.
District 5. Then should we
And then
advertise for
advertise for another member in either area 5 or 7.
Yeah, either 5 or 7 would make sense. Yep. Have a motion that.
So moved. I'd second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
So that'll have to go to what? HR.
Then we have to go back, and I just had a discussion with her before she finally, last week. The mailbox was full, and then this morning it wasn't. I got the message, and just before I left, she called and said there's nothing going on.
Okay.
She said it's expensive to, like $200 a week.
To advertise, yeah.
She said that's running up the bill, so I don't know what we should do anymore.
Well, I believe we're required to advertise for the open position, right? I think the commissioners made that a stipulation.
Right.
I think Lee did that. I kind of put that forward, so we have to do that. Do we have to keep advertising for a Lee board officer continually at this point, or?
She actually said she went nationwide with that.
Okay.
So, I mean,
It doesn't take much online.
No, but there's a lack of interest. She said, her words were that, it means it's a temp position. She said there's nobody really, applying in that. And this year, what she made, as far as getting members, that she just, this end of it, we're looking at what it is requirement, I guess we gotta continue to try some more. I guess I can bring it up with her. Or
Yeah.
Probably go through commissioners with that.
Yeah.
I guess this is just something I thought about this morning. It's not on the agenda. I don't know if it has to be, but I mean, say we don't get a weed control officer and it falls upon the district members to do the, inspections and stuff. I feel we should be compensated for it at a per hour basis or mileage anyway. If we have to go out and do inspections, I don't believe we should be doing it on our own time. I mean, just because we're district board members doesn't mean we should be doing it on our own time.
Yeah.
I think it's something for consideration. If we don't get a weed board officer, it would fall upon us to do that. And most of us would be taking time away from our work or our jobs or whatever. And I feel that would be no more than fair. But that's all dependent upon getting a weed control officer. I don't know what the other board members feel about that.
Gassed up a couple times now and dropped everything. And, we had that discussion, your misfortune there and stuff. There's no comp on that. I mean, it don't make or break you, but yeah.
No, but I mean, we're doing a job that we have should have a weed control officer and he would be getting paid for it. So if we're doing his job, I feel we should be compensated at least for our time and our mileage.
Mileage, especially.
Nobody's gonna make a ton of money off of it, but it'd be to pay gas and for a little bit for our time.
No, I feel the same way. It's something that could be brought up. If it comes to that, definitely. So once or twice ain't so worse.
No, but I mean, if it becomes a regular deal, and
Well, you're
if we don't get a weed control officer, it's going to become more of an issue, I think.
I marked it down. I think it was 62 miles that day for me. To drive there and back. So that's it wasn't.
But it's something we can discuss or whatever as far as what a fair compensation. The ideal of mileage is determined already.
It's already there as far as mileage goes, yeah.
And as far as the compensation, I don't know what county employees are paid, but I mean, that would be a starting point for whatever road employees are paid by the hour, if that would be some gauge to go by to pay us, by the hour, and then you just have to keep track of your time.
I think they have a temp pay rate.
Yeah,
I think, something like that, but yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay. Well, we have next on the agenda is Dale. And thanks forward to him. We'll get started on that. We had complaints come to me over the phone, and we followed up. And he did some spot check, and FSA had some complaints. And I guess where we start here is then the land in question is section 27, township 142 north, range 83 west. Did you go on that?
What now? I didn't hear you.
The land in question here, the complaints that have been coming forth, is your land here is section 27, township 142 north, range 83 west. That is correct, your land?
Yep.
Okay, and you are aware that there are noxious weeds on this land?
Yeah, there's some Canadian thistle.
Some are a lot.
And we did get sprayed with some milestone, like you said, but didn't seem like it affected it much.
When did you spray?
Cattle are in there, and chemical company working with chemical from Hefty over there at Wilton. They said I would not recommend spraying it if you got cattle in there. He said, you wouldn't want your food sprayed, would you? And I said, no.
There's no restriction with milestone as far as raising cattle.
But if the fall holds out here yet, I'll get in and plow it down and chisel it down after the cattle are out of it.
So we'd given you 2 weeks, to take action.
Well, we did, we sprayed some of it, but it didn't look like it affected it.
You mentioned that you were gonna harrow it down.
I don't know if the Herald pulled that down.
That's what you had talked at the time we had that discussion on the phone, that you were gonna go.
It didn't knock it down, but it ain't gonna, bury it or nothing.
No, not gonna bury it, but it's gonna, just continue it blowing around and whatnot. What did you actually do in that time frame? On the east side is what we're talking.
We got in and sprayed some of it, and then it rained. And I don't know if the rain affected the sprayer or what, or it didn't seem like it did much good. Looks like more of the cows that are eating it are doing better there than what the spray did.
Well, milestone applied this late in the fall isn't going to have a lot of effect. It's more of a soil sterilant type of chemical, and so it's an early application. So next year you should be able to see those spots better, right?
Right. Well, next year we'll go in with Roundup.
Right.
Kill it all.
Right. But I think at this point, our job on this board was just to acknowledge that there was weeds there and that there wasn't a crop planted, and then FSA, whatever you have to do with FSA, is that's between you and them.
Right.
Right? Like
Right.
we do nothing except identify and advise and say, yeah, we're the third party that says, yeah, this is a lot of Canadian thistle. Canadian thistle's a noxious weed, and it had nothing done with it, right?
We had complaints come to the board too.
Correct. Yeah.
To the weed board. We were getting complaints.
Yeah.
And that's then we carried it forward, to give them a 2 week, we sent them a registered letter.
Yep.
And gave them 2 weeks to, get an action going or doing something toward it, and nothing's been done.
Right.
And right now the cows marching around in it are really doing you no good.
I think a lot of them weeds are coming from that, that Wilbur Bolsky managed area. That's all full of weeds.
Right, that may, but that's not what we're discussing here, we're discussing the weeds that are on your land.
Right.
That's what we wanna target and have you get a plan going,
No,
right
this
now.
this is in farmland, right? Correct? It's not on pasture, it's in farmland, right?
Well, has it been farmed?
Yep.
When?
It doesn't.
It was in the spring there, it got chiseled up, chisel fall. That's probably what started a lot of these weeds emerge,
What'd you see,
It wasn't seeded, no.
that half section
Right.
was not seeded?
No, it wasn't.
But it was put forth as, see, I think as a weed board, if, just speaking generally, to be in compliance with the farm program, you have to plant a crop or show that you've done something. And that's on them, right?
Yeah. So I didn't go into a farm program.
Yep, but that wouldn't have tripped in their triggers if you hadn't been in the farm program. So that's between you and them. You're gonna have to go talk with them about that. What we were here to do is just verify that there were weeds, and Gene did that. He went and did our job in the absence of a weed control officer, and then I assume you've been sent the letter?
Yep. That came from Gene.
And so then, at this point, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only thing we really have is that the first letter is basically an encouragement to do cost share the next year, and that you need to do something about it.
You had to implement the plan in 21 or
If it becomes a continuous problem, we do have a right to find the person.
Right.
We've done that before in this county, and we don't wanna find anybody, but I think if, from what you said here, if your plan is to farm it next spring, to go in and spray it with Roundup, and get it seeded, I think that would probably avoid a lot of these problems. Even if you don't get it seeded, go in and spray it with Roundup, or try to control the Canada thistle in some way or another, just for your own, because we don't want to do this. We don't want to have
I
cost
don't want
problems.
this, I don't want the black eye over it, no, but
I would like to see, put forth an effort to do some sort of control and get it seeded, and even seed it to hay crop where you could go in and control it some other way or whatever.
Like next year, the plan is good, spray it with Roundup, then seed it with Roundup ready corn, and then spray it again.
That would be an excellent way to start a control program on that. Because I don't know if the complaint just came from FSA or
no, we got verbal and
we may have gotten some other complaints that I'm not aware of. I'm not aware of all the complaints that have been made. If there wasn't any other ones, I don't know. But just to avoid that, I would encourage you to, do something on that order to take care of that problem. Because we don't want to have to find anybody or do anything like that, but would be encourage you to come up with a good program like that.
well, right there, that's what it looked like. That is, that's solid Canadian thistle. It's hard to turn your head from, and that's a half a section of that. And he said he's going to do, he said he was going to try to do something with it, but nothing was done.
Right.
And now he's going to talk to the spring, for corn and stuff. I wish I could,
Have you done anything with it in the last few years? Have you had anything planted in there?
Have a what?
Have you had anything planted in there in the last few years?
Yeah, the year before it was wheat.
And then this last year it was just dormant?
Yeah. Well, it did get chiseled up in the spring, and then I suppose there's seedlings out there, and then it started growing.
this is not just a 1 year deal. This takes years to get it to this magnitude. What is your rotation, if any?
I usually put wheat in it and then the next year corn or oats.
Do you report the acres?
Do I what?
Report acres?
Yeah.
Okay,
There
so
we go.
Do you ever go in and just mow it down before it goes to seed?
Well, I could have got in with slaughtered it down.
But you haven't.
No, the weather hasn't been fit for it to swat it down. I wasn't gonna get in there with a swatter, the wind's blowing, and then it's flying all
Well, the cows parading around in there is really not doing anything.
over. The cows are eating it. I was surprised that they are, but they are eating it.
It's the only thing there is to eat, though it looks like there.
So, you did not have a letter last year, correct?
No,
No. This is the first year that we've done this, correct? And it's
Yes.
also
As
almost
far as-
November.
As far as I know it is, I don't know if Rick has dealt, when you were weed control officer, Rick, did you deal with it before or not? I mean,
Basically, what I gathered from this, Gene and I kind of had this conversation. He asked me to help him kind of through the process. Basically, if a landowner has a complaint about a noxious weed, it's the responsibility of the weed board to determine whether or not that weed is present. And then basically put together a letter through certified mail and talk about the landowner has to develop a noxious weed plan within that 2-week period. And then if it's in a traditional way, the weed control officer would basically make another visit to that land and determine whether or not a legitimate means of control has been attempted. And at that point, the weed control officer, if that person feels that the landowner has done a good job of controlling the weeds, it doesn't go anywhere. If the weed control officer feels that that land has not been, a plan has been developed and implemented, then it comes to the weed board to determine whether or not there should be a fine assessed to that. In this particular case, Gene had gotten a complaint. He went out, he inspected it, and basically, as far as a means of making a legitimate attempt to control, there's been nothing to minimize the amount of seed that's blowing around. And that's where it's at right now. So realistically, Gene went through the process to say that, here's the documentation. We got pictures of that, of what the land looks like. And these pictures were taken from just a couple of days ago. It's a very heavy, very, very heavy infestation of Canada thistle.
So I believe in the past, Rick, you have sent out a couple letters. I believe from one of our other meetings, you said you had two letters and 2 meetings or 2 investigations last year.
To different people.
Correct.
Yes.
And then they submitted a plan and took care of the problem, and that was it. Or
Yes.
or what? How did that go?
Basically, we send out a letter, and then, like I said, 2 weeks later, or about that, we go back and inspect to determine whether any attempt to control has been made. If there's been an attempt to control, then it kind of goes away. If in last year, if it would have been where I feel that there was no attempt to control, then it has to come back for the weed board to determine whether or not a violation is truly in play or not. And those we did not bring to the weed board because we felt like there was adequate amount of control. Not saying that the weed board would have agreed with that or not, but at that point it was decided that it probably wasn't bad enough to where it needed to come to a board vote whether or not to assess a penalty or not.
And that was a decision you made?
Yes. Yeah, as weed control officer, that's what's in there.
We had a complaint in my neighborhood and Wormwood, and the guy went out there and mowed it.
Yeah.
You know, and that was, you know, he took care of it.
Right.
You know, in his 2-week time frame.
Right.
I guess as far as this year, it's really kind of too late to really get anything accomplished.
That's where I'm at. I mean, there's no chemical that's going to kill
No,
it right
I mean,
now. It's already dead.
Why waste any money this fall?
But he,
I would encourage you, Dale, to set up a program and come back to us next spring, because if the problem is that big, it's going to be an ongoing problem for us. And I would like to see you do something so we don't have this issue again. That's just my feeling on it. You know, and what you said about putting in corn, Roundup Ready corn, I think that would be an excellent way to start on this to get control of it. And as far as I'm concerned, control of it will only benefit you more than anything else. You know,
Usually when we see corn, we get in with a plow. So
right?
that would get rid of it.
That would plow it down, but during the season, to put in Roundup Ready corn and spray it with Roundup to control weed growth in the summertime would be a good start as far as I'm concerned.
So I'm kind of with you. I don't know if we need to make this an official motion, but like it's November 1st almost. And so if we see the same problem next spring, well then maybe we move to penalty stage, right?
Right, and that's what I'm looking at. I think, you know, we're aware of the problem, and if you come back with a plan, you know, I don't see any problem with that if you come back with a plan. If you don't come back with a plan, it becomes an ongoing problem, then we're going to have an issue, and I don't want to have an issue with this.
yeah, I mean, it's substantial too, Dale. You know, you're looking in here at like $80 a day, up to $4,000. You know, the penalty can be if you don't, you know, come into compliance and do what you say you do. All right, now, I mean, you told me you're going to herald this down.
I tried to hear on some, but it didn't look like it did any good.
Yeah, you know, I gave you the green light on that. I didn't know what else to say to you because it was too late to spray, but I figured if you could incorporate that seed down, keep it from going anywhere. And there's been moisture enough on the ground where I think a herald could have probably been beneficial in there a little bit. So, but
I might throw in a little bit of a comment as an extension agent. Actually, the fall is the best time to control Canada whistle.
Yeah, but fall, not edge of winter.
Well,
You know, that's
Actually, when we get to that first light frost is kind of the ideal time to do it. And he was given the notice right around the 1st of October here.
okay. Well, that's good. I still think that we're past the first light frost, and I don't see any need in wasting chemical money on this right now.
I've seen, you know, the damn stuff is still growing. It's crazy this year.
Yeah.
You know, but this stuff here,
this is an exceptional year with the amount of rain we've had this fall. So
We really haven't had any hard freezes yet. I still got pepper plants out in the garden.
I know, but my corn bushel yield is affected very much by the light frost that has happened already. So, I don't know. I guess I would be opposed to going to the fine point right now. We don't have a precedence for this. Has there been a fine issued here in the last how many years? And
It's
then
been a few years since we've done it. It's not been with Canada thistle, it's been with leafy spurge, but yeah, it's been a few years.
it's been a
since
few
we've done
years. Do you have documentation of that you could provide us as a way to go forward in this if we have to do this next year?
it. We have the template for all of the,
But no
Yeah, the
documentation
letters.
of the actual event? Like, I feel like as a weed
There
board,
have been
there should have been certified letters, and
the
you should
last
have
one
had
we have
copies of
all the
those.
certified letters.
Right.
We do.
The last one was with Newburger out west,
Yeah.
and before that, I think it was down along the river with, I can't remember the name there. That's
We
been
don't do
number
a
of years.
lot of them, but where we actually assess the penalty, but we have done it a few times.
Right.
And you would have that information. I mean, since he's no longer weed control officer, really, that information should come into our file somewhere. Just as a responsibility and as a liability, we should have that.
as far as the letter that was sent.
Well, like all the history, like your application records when you were spraying, like we're supposed to keep that stuff for 4 to 5 years.
Spraying what?
Well, I assume you
I
spray.
don't spray.
Oh.
The only thing I spray is on demonstration plots. This is actually the letter that was sent to Dale. And it's basically out of the Century Code as to what needs to be in there as far as the verbiage and stuff. This is a template that actually I've given this to a lot of other counties too, because we do have a template to where everything is in order.
So prior to your resignation, did you have anything this year that was brought to your attention that you went out and inspected that we're going to need to know about next year if there's no follow-up?
There were no complaints given to me that hasn't been taken care of before I resigned.
But were there any complaints given to you this year? Because if that...
I resigned
like,
as of June 18th.
Yeah.
So
no, you didn't do any inspecting.
I did not. Actually, I worked with Gene a little bit on this particular case just to kind of go through the right protocol, but
The only reason I'm asking is because if we have the same complaint on stuff that was done already given a warning letter last year, then as a weed board, we would have the sort of responsibility and liability to go forward with that. So that's why I'm,
So the only ones
that's what we
were
just
through-
told.
The only ones we got were through FSA, and then this one here was just verbal through phone calls and concern and very nice people, just and saying that like this is not this year, this is 10, 12 plus years in the making, and there's no action being taken. And then, give him 2 weeks to implement something, and then he did nothing again. So that's where we're standing, We want to push it off till spring, but I'd like to see something in stone, if he's gonna, you're gonna put corn on it. Right now, it's been pretty lenient as to what, and I'm not trying to pick on you in any way, shape, or form here.
No, the issue needs to be taken care of. That's why I'm gonna put corn on it next year. Spray it with Roundup, plow it down, then seed corn, and as corn grows, give her another shot of Roundup, reed corn. That should pretty much take it out.
Yeah, you're looking at 320 acres of Canadian thistle here.
I mean, it's not gonna be a one-time deal, it's gonna be an ongoing problem. I mean, I've got some kind of thistle, it's something that you just don't spray one time and it's gone. So, I don't know what else to say, Gene,
I'm still, do we need to make a motion on this? That it's a verbal warning at this point, and then next spring it will move towards stiffer app?
We're gonna take it upon ourselves to follow up.
Well, I'm sure we'll get complaints if it's not.
And so far the complaints they've been very, very nice people.
Yep.
And I don't want to continue with this and then you start getting your butt chewed over because we didn't take no action toward it. But I don't want to be on that end of it. I see you guys where you guys are coming from.
I don't wanna become his farm manager to tell him what he has to do. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
But I highly recommend that, what you said would be a good plan as far as I'm concerned. I'd like to see it implemented. And if you don't, not necessarily that plan or any implement some kind of plan to control this problem. I mean, I foresee some kind of fine coming down the line. That's just my feeling. No matter what you said today was fine. That sounds like a good plan. If you don't see that or do that, at least have some kind of a plan to spray it or control this problem, because it's just going to be an ongoing problem for us if you don't. And I would just like to see you do something. And I guess I don't want to find anybody, but if it comes to that, I think that's our next step.
I think I would second that and just reinforce it with the fact that if we were talking about this in June, I would be more, what should I say, I would be stronger on the idea that we need to force them to control it now. But it is November, and a week from now we can have a foot of snow. And so,
It still may be able to be sprayed,
Yeah.
but I don't know what the how effective it would be right now. It may work excellent and may be a waste of money. So I would highly recommend doing something next spring.
But anything would be better than nothing too.
Yeah, but, well, yes and no. You have to be careful with. See, this is the problem. A lot of the good chemicals for noxious weeds are also not really to be applied in crop ground because the residual is too long. You know,
That's the question, is how often is he cropped?
right, and that's really not for us to determine. You know, that's not our jurisdiction. That's FSA.
Right, so.
Yeah.
But it's like Greg said there too, you know, if you don't get it seeded or something, you know, have a plan, have a backup. You know, say, you know, get somebody in there with some chemical or have something done, you know, because it, say it comes to where, you don't get the corn planted, at least, you know, get it sprayed, like Dorothy said, something's gotta happen.
Because that's gonna take more than 1 year to get rid of that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a number of years.
Honestly, if you decided you didn't want to plant corn and you went in there and you blanket sprayed it with the correct rate of milestone and 2,4-D, you'd be amazed at how that would clean up next spring. It's a
you
great
can't-
chemical.
You can't use milestone on crop ground mold.
I understand, but if he doesn't report it, it could go into pasture and then it wouldn't get reported.
If he's
and
gonna
then-
convert it to pasture, you could.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you decide you're not gonna plant a crop on it, just have it sprayed, control the problem, done deal. It will take years to get it perfect, but Milestone's an amazing chemical if it's applied with a carrier chemical and done early. So it will clean up spots fairly quickly. So,
Yeah, I put 2,4-D in with my Roundup too.
and that's not gonna hit it much.
No, it won't this fall anymore, no.
Or even in spring, it's weak. Yeah.
But getting in with a plow and plowing it down is gonna get rid of the majority.
But it just grows back again though too. Sometimes when you see the plowed land, it just comes back stronger. It's just like you're seeding it again.
Right.
So you can just, in my mind, just spraying
All
it.
that seed back in the ground, I mean, that's the problem, how much seed is in that ground yet to sprout. So,
Okay, yeah, I'm with you guys made a motion.
I don't really make a motion on that, do we? He's got those.
Take a motion that you actually address the issue, whatever the motion is gonna lead to, you need to have it in the record that you've addressed it.
okay,
We did, you know, we discussed it.
I guess I would make a motion that, you know, we did listen to Dale and his plan, and if the plan isn't implemented, there will be consequences. I don't know the correct wording on it.
The consequences following in 2027.
In the
or
following
26.
year, and a follow-up inspection, that the problem was addressed and we're aware of it. You know,
You have a second.
Hold on, you got all that, Alicia? Oh, that sometimes motions happen faster than they can be typed out.
and maybe the wording wasn't correct, you know, what it should be.
What do you have as a motion?
Okay, so we listened to his plan of what he plans to do, and if the plans are implemented for 2026, there will be fines, right?
There'll be a follow-up
There'll be a
inspection.
follow-up inspection. We shouldn't say fine, I don't know
Yeah.
if that's a.
I agree that it's dropped.
And then I think, instead of putting he in there, you should say Dale Bart, so we know who we're referring to.
So then we have a motion and we have, you need a second.
You have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Sweet. So there you are, Dale.
So we're getting taken care of next year.
Okay.
I hope so, Dale, I really do.
We better do something with it, please.
You don't make money raising wheat, costs money.
Okay, we'll move to the next, discuss the vacancy of the weed board officer, like you said, anything.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
The weed control officer vacancy, I guess, it's not going anywhere, we're not getting no apps. I don't know if we should continue to send apps out. Should we give it a rest or try a different avenue?
It's been continuously advertised since, or did they take a break from advertising? I haven't,
I'd catch it in the dollar save, I don't know if you page through that occasionally.
In the wintertime, maybe.
Yeah, and, you know, but, you know, I think they'll run it for like 2 weeks and then it's pretty much a done deal. And I think we better re-up it. Pretty vague, the description. And like she said this morning, means it's,
I would say probably lay off of it until February of next year. So, that's just my thinking is, next spring we'll probably start advertising again early next spring or late next winter.
According to Century Code, a couple options is that we could appoint one on the board and that would serve as that position, serving as sort of our district weed control. That's not really in Century Code, but I don't see why it's not really not in Century Code either, right? So,
as far as the district we represent, we serve as officers, is
Right.
what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not really there per se, but it's a get by for now, right? I imagine weed complaints are gonna probably decrease here shortly, so.
Now, we were pretty minimum this year, I mean, it was just Dalesville and through FSA.
Yeah, I think that's something that, depending what happens next spring, we probably have to look at something like that. That's just my feeling, just lay off for a while, probably start advertising in February.
Yeah, kind of the same thoughts.
So would be nice to get somebody before, so we come up with a spring plan for chemicals. So.
When do those spring cost share letters go out?
Usually we send them February, March, and then pick up in April.
That's just my feeling. If somebody feels different,
Which we don't need a weed control officer to do that part of it. We just need to manage that because Brittany was doing a lot of that paperwork before, and so that's
Don't we need somebody to oversee the chemicals though?
right. Yes.
And that's what you're looking for someone to do. Is that what you're?
Even sending the letters out, what Brittany was doing, she was doing that on basically because she had a position
right? She did
a little bit with the weed board,
pay a
and
portion
she's not
of
there
the
either
wages,
right
and
now.
she sent the letters out, and then like Rick was weed control officer, he handled all the chemical distribution and stuff like that. Where if we had a weed control officer, that would become part of their job to do the chemical distribution and probably developing different aspects of a plan to go in different directions if we want to do something different. To give them more responsibility. It depends on how much we want to pay them or how big a job we want to make it.
Right.
I guess that.
So as far as doing the chemical itself, you just need a commercial applicator's license to order that stuff in. I'm certified that way. Are you a commercial applicator? Are you?
Yeah, I believe I am. Yeah.
If it's a 5-year renewal?
Yeah, probably not anymore. I think I probably dropped it.
I get an email from Thorsten when it's time to re-up and I'll go do my deal. But so anyway, what I'm saying is as a board, I'm qualified to do that and we would just need letters sent out.
Are you gonna have time though if you're farming?
If we do a couple days of delivery and we get it done early enough, yes. We're not, if we wait around until May to get this done, then that's maybe not gonna work. The other option is when Scotty Meyer did the spraying, the extra chemical went over there. to my understanding. And so if he's still willing to do that and we were to decide to continue that, or I should really say the commissioners were to decide to do that, then there's a chance we could use his facility and he would also be commercially obligated. So it would just be a matter of processing the requests and taking care of that stuff.
Distribution, days, personnel, collecting. There's a lot to it. I mean, everything's got to click.
Right.
I'll be there for, when they roll in the offload. That'll be in compliance. That was the next thing, is building options as far as where we store this stuff in the spring.
I guess my idea is we don't store it that long. People get notified when those days are. We have a couple days, you pick up your stuff, you get it. And if there's anything left over, then maybe we have to deliver and get paid mileage to do it. But that's, that was something we talked about previously. Rick has had kind of an open door policy, which has been great for the county and everybody involved. But if things have to change, they have to change, and we make it a little more stringent, So.
It'd be nice to pick it up at their leisurely pace, kind of like they do in Mercer County, all of a sudden they get a window where they can go straight around the town and pick up their chemical and go spray. We don't have that luxury. No. We have to, and some people really slack about getting here. And then, it's always nice to have a little extra, because you're gonna run out. You're gonna see more than you anticipated. There's gonna be more of it, and then if you can come back and get more, just not what you get up front. So it's always nice to have a little carryover to that sense. But then again, who's going to drop everything and run down there and get it to them?
If we don't have a person that's there, then it might just be the way it is.
Yeah, I know exactly. It's big shoes, in a sense, to satisfy everybody. I guess we're gonna have to make it, if it comes down to where it's just us, it's gonna have to be, like you were saying, and when it's us, not everybody's gonna be happy.
That's all right.
Now, does someone in our group have to prepare those letters then?
Yes. That would be part of our job. Without a weed control officer that was doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I see in Mercer County, they just throw the paper.
Yep. Yep. They don't send out individual letters, they put it in the paper and
their selection is, what you read it, they got 5 chemicals, 6 chemicals at tops.
Yep.
They don't have one, we got a list, which is nice.
The nice part about Mercer County is, they do put a limit on how much can cost you kind of at one time, usually in Mercer County. The nice part is Senex deals it, so then nobody else has to. Senex makes a little money off the top of it, and it is what it is. That may be going away now, I hear, but that's how it's been for years.
There's a lack of workforce.
Yeah.
There, Brad's looking for different ways of doing it. So, yes. I guess so much for that. The building options here. The reason I brought that in is that building in the highway department there. We had looked at that. We turned in that little shop office type building.
What is the state highway department?
No, that was a state, wasn't it?
At the state highway department?
Yeah.
They actually moved that off here last week.
The big building.
It was on a semi, it was moved out.
The little building too.
The big, it was, I don't know, it was maybe like a 30 by 60.
Yeah,
That one's gone. I don't know what else is.
the big, I think the bigger shop they had is still there. I don't think they were going to move that. Unless I'm wrong.
The big one moved.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on a semi leaving here last week.
Okay.
Because I thought they were only going to move to the 2 smaller buildings, but they cleaned the lots cleaned off there. Then there's no buildings on there. I haven't been by there.
I don't think there's a building left out there.
Okay. Okay. Well, that changes that.
Dollar General.
Yeah, there's Dollar General.
Whatever becomes of those when they discontinue.
It's for sale.
Make that
It is for sale.
It's for sale or lease, but we can't afford it.
disco ball.
The sheep shed.
Yeah, there you go.
That's an name, wasn't it? In Beulah.
The sheep
I've
shed?
never heard about it. I think so.
Sheep shed, that was down where on the west side of Beulah, south of the sales ring, where that little,
You're old enough to remember going there, huh?
I heard stories about
Okay.
where those trailer parks, where those trailers are parked, there used to be a sheep shed there.
No,
I think there used to be a sheep shed in every little town.
A lot of stories. A lot of stories come from there, my folks and stuff who lived in there, so.
Mr. Chairman, I'll throw this out there. I've kind of talked with a couple of you guys about this too, and maybe I was like the worst thing that ever happened to weed control in Oliver County, but what I've mentioned to a couple of you is that if it is approved by NDSU, I would consider coming back until you guys get a better plan. Now, whether that's a building, whatever it is. And what I'm going to say is that I understand what another group is doing, but if you feel like that is your best route, at least for a year, I think a letter from this board saying that there is not a conflict of interest between extension and weed control, I think it would carry merit to if that's an avenue you want to go down. If the board would want to write a letter to NDSU, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. I'm just throwing that out as an option.
I believe it would need more than a letter from us. Also, I feel like the reason you had to resign, Rick, was possibly politically motivated, and also NDSU has only allowed this county and one other county in the state to have you guys on here as a county agent to serve as a weed control officer. You two have been grandfathered in as that, and I don't know if that would really go very far. That being said, it seems like it would make a political problem within the county. So that's just my opinion right now, but we're not there yet. So as of now, that's a whole different topic.
So question, why would this be a political issue?
Maybe to answer that, Rick, maybe you want to explain why you had to resign.
Because one individual had sent a letter to NDSU saying that it was basically that they, I don't know, what I could do, instead of it being a he said, she said deal, I can show you the letter of why I was asked to resign.
That's not really what I asked. Why did your employment agency ask you to resign?
Because there was one complaint.
No, they perceived it as a conflict of interest for you being a county agent and also a weed control officer.
Who did? NDSU?
I believe so.
Actually, that's not correct.
That's what you said when you resigned.
I'm saying that that's why he asked me to resign, is that NDSU perceived that because of the complaint that come from an individual at the county.
And that's all I was asking is
Yes.
your employment agency
Yes.
viewed it as that.
Yes.
There. That's why it becomes political.
But we can't find them.
Well,
There's no interest.
I talked to Jim Gray about this and I guess that isn't a feeling I got from him. And if we can't get anybody else, I don't have any reservations about looking at Rick to do it, to help us out in the interim. And as far as I'm concerned, he did a good job. And that's where I stand on it.
as far as the politics, let the politics fall where they may, but I'm not being political in this. I just look at Rick as doing a good job, and if NDSU has a problem with it, they need to come to talk to the weed board and not to listen to everybody else. Because we were never, when this all came up, when this all started, we were never contracted by NDSU or any of his other employer at all to get any information from us. This is all done through how many letters, 1 letter, 2 letters, 3 letters, I don't know. But they never came to the weed board and asked us or asked our opinion of what kind of job Rick was doing. It was just all based off this 1 or 2 letters from certain individuals who either have a personal grudge to grind or axe to grind or were not happy with Rick's job. That's fine. If they weren't happy with Rick's job, they should have come to us because he was our employee. He is not an employee of the county commissioner. He is the employee of the weed board. So as far as I'm concerned, he should have never resigned. I think he should be able to come back if he wants to help us in the interim. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's my feeling. I don't feel it was done correct. I think it was all political and to be honest with you, a bunch of BS.
But irregardless, I don't see that we're really in a hard situation right here. There was no complaints as of June. We had to field 2 complaints. Right now, we have to implement a cost share program. That's about it. And if I guess as board members we can't do those things among ourselves, then what are we really doing here? You know, the cost share program is not going to be that big of a deal. We have 2.
So you don't foresee Oliver County going anywhere beyond the cost share program or anything like that as far as setting up a spray program, as far as any other options?
No, maybe we do, but Rick has been the county weed control agent for how many years, and the weed board is what it is right now. You guys have sat on this board for how many years, and Rick has been the weed control officer, and this is where we're at. We're not in a situation like Mercer County. So
right, we're not.
So why
and that was, I guess, we never intended to be in that position. That wasn't our goal as a board.
Right.
And I guess we did last year try to look forward to Rick retiring or whatever, and to hire a full-time person and put up a building and expand a little bit. Well, the commissioners didn't seem to like that, and some other people didn't like that. So that was pretty much shot down. And anytime it had come up in discussion, it got shot down right away. And we were honest as a board. We wanted to probably think about expanding that position and go with a more active, per se, weed control officer that would go out and do some spraying and stuff and things like that, and move forward. But some of the politicians in this county didn't feel that was a.
I hear Darren's part, we sat for 15 years here, and we start seeing future, and we start pursuing that, and we really hit a lot of walls and a lot of conflict within, and I never believed that would happen. I just couldn't see that we weren't all on the, seeing the same thing forward. We start getting some verbal complaints toward our storage and whatnot, and we've seen it, we've got to correct things, and things get more and more, and we just start, for 2 years, we've just been headlocked, and prior to that, it was a good time to be on the weed board, and then all of a sudden when we come here, it's just nothing but fights day in and day out. It's no fun no more.
Yeah.
And instead of sitting down and discussing things, there was so much going on behind the backs of everybody. Jabbing here, jabbing there, and then it got ugly. And I want that to discontinue. I mean, we can sit here and discuss things, and that's what the board is for.
You're right. And I guess I would say as a board, we need to start doing things with the resources we have, not jump into a big expense with the things we don't have. As a weed board, we have equipment there already that's not being used. Rick just made the statement that he doesn't spray.
That's minimum stuff there, I mean.
But like, so
A couple folios, I mean, that's really nothing to get.
that's what Mercer has. They still use
Correct, so
four-wheelers a lot.
Oh, yeah, in that sense.
Well,
that's
Mercer
where
County, what did they pay their weed control officer?
Right, but what does he do? He
Right,
lives on
what
that
does he
forward.
do? And I mean, that's what we were kind of looking at moving forward with. And, didn't seem to go over well with some people.
But that wasn't going to be it. See, we're talking about the past here a little bit, and that's why we hit the wall with the public. It's not just the commissioners. The public wasn't going to handle a building being built and getting extra funds put that direction. And that's what was being disseminated out of this board, whether that was your guys' intent or not.
What part of the public was
No.
not, in favor of us?
There's been quite a few people that have been listening to commission meetings that have
Right,
talked to
and
me
that's-
since I've been on this board
No.
and said, what do you guys need a building for?
Right, but
You know.
we're helping the farmer rancher, and they're the big part of this.
Absolutely.
They're the big part of this, tax base that comes through the county,
Mm-hmm.
and that's who we're paid for, that's who we're there to help.
Yep.
And,
And that's
so that's what we have to look out for as a board.
Right.
You know, and, if we fell short there, and, we don't have the luxury of a doggone, the Droney Center. I mean, if we had that, there'd be a lot of headaches.
But like this year, we made some strides forward. I mean, there were some ditches that got sprayed very well that hadn't been in years past. I'm sure there's more that could be done. You don't, as we just told Dale, you don't get a hold of this in 1 year.
Right, and I agree.
But like we actually are moving forward as a board. We got Scotty involved.
He's
Just
been doing it several years, hasn't
no, just the state roads.
he?
So he took on county stuff too.
Okay.
And I think he's willing to continue to do more. We need to have a meeting where he can actually be here and we can talk to him. But I think he's willing to do more. And if he had more lead up time, I think he could, because it was kind of dropped in his lap, you know. So a little more lead up time, and I think he'd be
You took it
better.
over on short notice.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, no fun.
You know, and he had really no guidance, no one was really in charge of it, really. I mean, he just with kind of a,
There's an
he
option.
was supposed to work with the county road department. Well, the county road department has, you know, no ties to the weed board, really.
what if we approach Scott about being the weed control officer? He's already going around the county spraying. He would know where the hot spots are. He would have a place for the chemical. He's already certified. He already has certified storage. What if we approached him with this idea? If he would be open to accepting that spot. It doesn't look like it would be a lot of time outside of his already done or said job description. So
I mean, it's
just an idea.
open to any options, I guess. It's an idea.
So has he seen the open notice about applying for it? He just really hasn't had an interest in it, or?
I don't think he's looking for another
I'm
job.
totally brainstorming here. It may or may not be an option.
Yeah, I hear you, there. You know, it's been, how many times, 3 times, 4 times now, it's been
The
published.
spraying is, I don't believe spraying is his,
Desire in life.
well, it's not his main job.
Well, yeah.
It's his second job, he and his wife.
But they've done it for a long
They've
time.
done it for a long
They've done it
time.
for a
I've had
long
him
time.
spray for me and he did a good job, but I mean, it's, you know, we'd have to talk to him if he'd be willing to do it, to take on that extra responsibility. I can't say yes or no whether we want
Yeah,
it or
and I
not.
don't even know.
And what do you want?
I just brainstorming, but he's already there. You know, if you go to Century Code and read the description of the weed control officer, by spraying the county weed ditches, he covers about 90% of what that job description is. Have a map of the county, know the hot spots, do these things, know where you're at. So then he would be the one getting the call for that instead of Gene or us or those types of things.
Yeah, I'm in favor of forwarding the phone calls, that's for them, sure. So, I don't care. But if that pretty much covers every stuff, make a motion to adjourn.
Do we, before I second that, do we need to have any before the year-end meeting as far as books, or that fiscal year's later, right?
Yeah, we did our budget here.
So that's,
Fiscal year, starts in October, I believe. We have to have our budget submitted in
Okay.
end of June, and
Brian already did that.
yeah, that's already been done.
so that's done, so there's nothing financial that we have to do.
Well,
For
the
the end of the
tag
year.
is good for, we have to commit to that until the 6th month of next year.
Well, it's a every year thing. It just the fiscal year ends June 30th. And they did raise that to $10,000 a year.
Yeah,
I
keep
think-
that in mind for this spring as far as utilizing that.
We already have more equipment than we are using, so I'm not sure what we would use that for.
What that could be used for, and Darren, just for your knowledge too, is that we've actually extended that invite to the county shop. And it can actually go to county pickups, motors for a vehicle. It could go for, it has to be related to making your spraying program better.
Right,
But we've extended that to the supervisor at the county shop for years.
Yeah.
And we don't ever get any interest.
For updates on some of their equipment too. Some of that is much needed if they're gonna continue with it. And there's room for improvement there for sure. Not the equipment.
Okay, that's the whole question. So there's really no meeting, no future meeting planned at this point. We don't need to set a date for that or anything.
Not this year anymore, so we'll just keep it
Next meeting
cautious
would be to probably set up
for spring.
a spraying program, a share.
And cost share, and if that
What
letter is
chemicals
up
we don't wanna use and whatever.
We
March.
need a January meeting.
Yeah.
For sure, after the holidays.
For that, yeah, that meeting. When, Van Lease forwards that coming January
The what's it now?
for the cost share chemical.
We have to submit for bids.
You have to submit for bid, okay. There's basically two companies that we submit to.
Yes.
When does that have to be done?
I'm gonna say 2 weeks prior to when you have your spring board meeting. So it would be, you'd have bids to accept at the board meeting. The board would normally determine what chemicals you want to have bids on. If there's something new that's out there, then you make the request to the wholesale companies to submit a bid for those products then.
and as county agent, that is still under your job to be an advisory for that part of it. The biological side of things, and your test plots, if you are there, the way I understand it, that's county agents will also sit in on a weed board, whether they're the weed board officer or
They
not,
can,
and provide information on chemicals
they
and
can.
Yeah.
The one thing, I did go to a meeting on Thursday. I wasn't planning on, I went for my MRI and I got a text, where are you at? The Area 4 weed control meeting. Basically, that's an opportunity for every county to give a report as to, what's happening in the county and questions. I did go to it for a few minutes. Yeah, that's something that we should have a representative there.
And so what was so you didn't notify Gene of that was coming up so that one of us could go?
Actually, Greg, were you notified? Because I think you're even don't you have a trust there too?
I wasn't notified if I never got it, I never got an email on it. If
I think I got
I did, I didn't, my wife didn't see it because I don't have an email,
Sure.
but I never got a letter or anything like that about it.
Is there any other meetings coming up on trainings for weed control officers if we're gonna have to be doing this short term or long term?
Not so much for that side of it, but the state conventions in January. It'd be nice if Oliver County had some representation
I
there.
heard about that one.
It's the first week of January. And I go down there, I'll be going down there because they've asked me to do the auction down there. We're a guest speaker and I'm a presenter at the convention again this year. Whether I'm in the weed control officer job or not, they've asked me to come down there in those capacities.
That's put on through NDSU?
No, that's through the North Dakota Weed Control Association.
Okay. And this part of it, the books, who's doing that right now? Treasurer?
Linda's
Linda's still doing that, and she's agreed to continue to do that?
pretty much,
It's part of the auditor's office responsibility to do it, either whether they're on the board or not. They have to provide that information to you.
Okay.
just somebody to present it when it's here, so we had it locked today, and then I just went through it. And she handed me this here, highway right of ways, check 3599, and it's got a list of what you.
Okay, I got a question about that. When was that submitted?
This is the 13th, this is the.
What's that now?
The highway right away,
That is the
The-
highway.
Oh, the 8,500?
right?
That is not our bill. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm working through the Soil Conservation District, that's Casseron, they're paying the bill.
Okay,
We've done that before. Basically, the only way that NRCS can buy Casseron is through a weed board, through that company. And JD, I give it to JD, he'll pay it. We've done that for years.
okay.
So that was done before,
No, it just got delivered here last week.
well, yeah, the Casseron did,
Yes.
but you're no longer on the weed board.
True. It went to the county though. It
Okay,
went to Oliver County.
okay. I
Because
guess,
Oliver County has to be the one to make the request.
right. So you just used the pronoun what I'm doing, and what I'm saying is officially, if that's great, if that's fine, but since you're no longer on the weed board, this has to be done by our board. Otherwise, you're doing things as a non-member, and that's going to get us into trouble.
It was billed through Oliver County. It's being paid by the Oliver County Soil Conservation District. I did call down and make the request. I worked with JD.
So then, technically, though, that should be Gene's responsibility now.
It got billed to Oliver County, whether I'm an Oliver County employee, that's fine.
I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but in government positions, this matters, right? Sometimes.
Does it?
You don't think so?
Well, I don't know. I guess he's trying to be helpful.
Right. I understand that, but I'm saying is like when
It got,
you're resigned. You're fully resigned, Rick. And
There's
so
a lot
like,
of information he's got that we really need.
agreed, and I'm good with that. But like if he's acting with monetary things outside of the board, then
Yeah, but this wasn't done through any of our monies.
no.
Yeah. Okay.
It got
I mean,
billed,
this is paid by Soil Conservation.
it got billed
So
to Oliver County, not to the Oliver County Weed Board.
So I mean, we have no, we don't even need to be aware of this if that's the case.
Well, no,
He's
you just said it's supposed to go through the county weed board.
No, I said it got billed to Oliver County, and the weed board has really no effect in it. Even like when we make the chemical purchases.
Yep.
What they're asking for at the warehouse is that they need to know that somebody has got a valid commercial license.
Yep.
They don't ask if I'm the weed control officer,
Okay.
but they want somebody's registered number to be attached if there's a question on their end.
Yeah.
Even though Casseron is not even a restricted use chemical.
Right. I'm aware.
Those people at the warehouse are asking if for the certified number that it goes under.
Yeah.
So it's basically
Okay.
my personal account. It's not part of the weed board anyways.
Okay, good. No, that's fine. It's, like I say, it's just a matter of what monies are supposed to go where. So,
Do we have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Turn the camera on.
I need to, like, actually type these.
Shoot.
Oh.
That's the, well, just as a note, while the camera's still on, we should try and make the meeting a little bit later so Bisha doesn't have to take off work. You could be out by 3, right? 3:30?
3:30 would be best.
Yeah.
I can make 3 work.
So
but
just as a
best.
management
We
note,
gotta rumble through them though.
right, yeah,
Yeah, we can.
just going forward, if we could do that.
Is that all year?
No, just through May. August to May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a school year. Gotcha.
And I need to leave a meeting by 4:45.
Okay.
I mean,